Welcome to Python Basics with EJD. In the last video, we had looked at um, iterables, Python iterables, and we saw that an iterable is any object in Python that can, from which elements can be returned one after the other. So we saw things like strings and all the Python data structures, right? So here, we are looking at another very important concept in Python, which is I mean it's so important that without it you cannot run your codes properly, especially if you need for some kinds of operations you won't be able to get on without working with indentation. All right, so as usual, we go for Google Colab, which is our integrated development environment in this situation. It is built on Jupyter Notebook. So we can open Jupyter Notebook freely in it and all that. So we're talking about Python indentation in Python, right? Okay, so this is coming on. Now it's here. All right. Indentation in Python. Okay, so the first question we want to answer is what is indentation? So indentation in Python refers to the use of white space at the beginning of a line to define the structure of your code. Unlike many programming languages such as C, Java, or JavaScript that use braces actually to mark block codes. So these other ones, they use braces to mark block codes. Python uses indentation exclusively to group statements together, right? In short, Python indentation is not just for readability, it is syntactically required. So without indentation, you're going nowhere, so to speak, as far as Python is concerned. It's not just for readability, though it helps readability, but beyond that, it's very important. It's part of the syntax. Now, another question is why indentation is about why indentation is important, right? First of all, indentation helps to define code blocks. It tells Python which statement belong together, loops, functions, conditionals, classes, etc. Now, this particular video is important because after that, we'll be talking about Python functions, control flow, and things like that. And indentation is really integral to all of these things. In fact, object-oriented programming and all the rest of them, we need indentation to be in place for all of these things. So indentation also improves readability. So it enforces a clean, uniform coding style. It avoids ambiguity, which makes the logical flow of code more visible to both the interpreter and humans. If indentation is wrong, Python will raise an indentation error or syntax error. So, I mean, indentation has to just be right. So indentation rules in Python. So number one, you need consistent spacing. Use the same number of spaces, usually four per indentation level. So mind you, it's four spaces. So we'll see practical examples of this as we move on. The tabs and spaces cannot be mixed in the same block. Python 3 will throw an error. So you need spaces, not tabs. All right. So another rule is that you need to indent after a colon. So after a full colon, you need to indent. Any statement ending with a full colon must be followed by an indented block. Examples include after if, else if, and else. You see all of this when we get to control flow. Then after for and while loops, you also need indentation. After def, that's for functions, and after class for object-oriented programming. So you need indentation. After things like try, except, finally, and other and blocks, you need indentation also. So let's talk about nested blocks. Indentation increases for each nested block inside another block. So if you're okay, I mean you're going to see these different levels as we move on for sure. So indentations can be in layers to show that some things belong together, just like we've said already. So let's look at some examples of proper indentation. Imagine if you declare x is equal to 6. And then once you have an if statement, you see we have if here, right? So once you have an if statement, it is going to end with a full colon. So if x is greater than 5, of course, our x is greater than 5, it is 6. If x is greater than 5, print x is greater than 5. And we just do this, you know. So it's going to print x is greater than 5 for sure. Okay, that goes. Then, what if x is 61, for instance? Okay, x is still greater than 5, right? So what if x is 4? I want to see what is going to happen, right? you know. Okay, so if x is greater than 4, it prints nothing because you didn't tell it to do anything, right? So so if x, so our x was 6, so it's greater than 5. But if x is less than 5, it does nothing because you didn't tell it to do anything if x is less than 5. So that goes. Now, on the other hand, it's the same x equals 6 we declared, and we're still working with that x here. So if x is greater than 0, print x is positive. Okay, so you see that after this full colon now, we have indentation. So imagine, interestingly, it's so nice these days that once you have a semicolon and you have anything after it and you press enter, it automatically indents, and that works well. Imagine if you close it up like this, it's going to throw up an error. All right. So just because the indentation is wrong. So what do? Space it 4 times or bring it back and press enter, it will do it automatically. But if it's like this, you just need to do 4 times. Spacing 1, 2, 3, 4, not tab. Okay. Maybe tab can still work in some version of Python here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this still works, but by officially it should be space 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and that works. So like that. So imagine here in this new cell, we have whenever you see def, you're talking about Python functions, which we are going to consider in the next video. So not to worry, if you don't understand, no problem. In the next video, I'm going to explain the idea of Python functions. So imagine define. So you are defining a function called greet, and it will take whatever name you supply to it and greet the person. So greet name, if name, print hello name, else print hello stranger. So if you don't know, if the name is not given, you just say print hello stranger, right? So for instance, if I just say so if we have name, print hello the name. If there's no name, print hello stranger. So here now, so how to run a function, as you're going to see in the next video, is copy this part out, and put it down here, just like we have this Alice now. So you now have this Alice here. So I'm just showing you what was there is fine already. I just need to show you how to run a function. So just copy that part out and supply it a particular name. In this case, it's Alice. So if you run it, you get great Alice. Now, what if you don't have the Alice name? So let me do alternate enter so you can open a new space. I'll just say great, just open brackets. So so it's missing required positional argument. So I thought it should just tell me print stranger, right? So okay. All right, so that works. It's not working outside the shield. Else, print hello stranger. I was expecting it to print hello stranger. If name, okay. So it's giving error here. So let me just put my full name as I usually do. Okay, so it greets me like that. So here, def.greet name ends with a colon, so the function body is indented. So you can see def.greet name ends with a colon, so this has to come. Now you now see under that, now you now have another colon. So you see this level of hello again. So you see these two prints are like they are supposed to be at the same level, right? So if name ends with a colon, so its body is further indented. So you have a level of indentation here. After this one, you have another indentation coming like that, right? So the else block matches the if indentation. So this else and if are the same level, while these two prints are at the same level, right? So okay, let me see. If I had done this, okay, that won't work. Let me see. If I had done this, I don't think it will make any difference. Yeah, it won't make any difference, really. Okay, so when we come to functions, you see what some other things. So here now you see incorrect indentation and errors. So if x is greater than 0, print x is positive. So here now, if I run this, it's going to give me an error. So how do I correct it? You can either bring it up and press enter, so it's indented automatically, or if it's like this 1, 2, 3, 4 space, and it runs, right? But it's wrong because it's at the same level with if, so that's not possible. So here to if def greet name, if name, print hello name. So here now you just have, so if you bring this here and press enter, so it indents. So this one can now work properly, all right? Because you know, so it's working properly. It's not giving any result because I've not run the code. But this was like this before. So it's going to give indentation error. So how do you correct it? 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's fine now. Oh, okay. So let me take it back. Enter. Then it's fine now because there's no error. Okay. So if you bring it back, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 should actually work, but it's giving error still. Okay. So the short thing is press enter like this and it's fine. Okay. So it's not giving error in that case. But of course, just like I told you, the if you want to run the code, the function, you have greet name and then you supply a specific name. So, but we are dealing with the wrong, so it's wrong if it's not indented properly. Then when you come here to, it's also going to give an error. You know why? Because define greet name, the first indentation is fine, but here now you have print name, you have the second indentation here. So in this case now, um, so you probably have to make this one at the same level with this. So you see, the underline was there before. Okay. So it has to be at the same level with this for it to work. So though we have not run anything here, so this is inconsistent use of tabs and spacing. That's why we have that trouble here. So but now it's fine. So if it's like this, okay, it's also fine, right? But here, I think the other time we had something like this. That's why we had this error. So it's either, so this second print now it's either at the same level with if or at the same level with this print, anyhow you like it. So let's see, let's try the two out. So normally if I take this up now and I press enter, this will work fine, right? But if you have it a space like this, there's going to be error. How do you correct that? If I do this and I press alternate enter and it creates a new space and I bring this. So two ways, it can be at the same level with this print so that by the time you now run, uh, okay, let me say end and enter. So by the time you now say def, say print, and then you say uh, EJD, right? So it just prints EJD like that, okay? So it just prints, no, sorry, this should be greet EJD, sorry, greet EJD. Then it just says, hello EJD, welcome, right? So that's one level of operation. So if you don't want to, if that is not corrected, if that's not what you want, right? Another possibility is this. So, this one now, it prints everything in one blow. Welcome, hello EJD, welcome. What if So, of course, we already know the wrong one is this indentation that is not in line with if it's not in line with print. That's wrong. So another way, if you don't want this, is to bring it to be at the same level with if. So print and if are the same level now. So if you now say greet EJD, so it does the same thing. It says hello EJD, still welcome. So it seems to give the same result. So it's either the print is aligned with the other hello or it's aligned with if. If it's like this, trouble. If it's with if, good. If it's a step further, wrong. Okay, so something like this now. So I mean, so you can correct it in any of those two ways. So talking about tabs and versus spaces, PEP 8 recommendation, you need to use 4 spaces per indentation level. That's what we are saying the other time. So for every level of indentation, like in this case now where we had double, like I think we had double somewhere. So like this case where we had double, so 4 spaces here. So, if you come up here, you press down, that's 4 spaces. Then if you come here again, so it's now another 4 spaces from where the if starts, like that. And that's why that can work well. Okay. Um, that doesn't seem to be working. Okay, I think I've scattered it. So the L should be at this level, while print should not be at this level. Okay, now that works. Okay, so 4 spaces from the beginning for the first indent. The second indent is another further 4 spaces, from where that should start, like that. Okay. So, I mean, we have all these errors because the indentations are wrong. So indentation is so powerful and important. So use 4 spaces per indentation level. Do not mix tabs and spaces in the same file. So configure your editor to insert spaces when pressing the tab key. So, I mean, even if you use tab to do spacing, configure it so that it's working as like you're using space key, right? The long key, that's the space bar, right? Indentation and multi-line statements. Python allows implicit line continuation inside parentheses. That is parentheses, brackets, that's square brackets, and braces. In this case, indentation is for readability, not structure. So when you have indentation in this kind of case, it's for readability. It's not because it's not part of the structure, right? It's just for you to be able to read in case you have something very lengthy. Instead of having everything go, of course, you still have few. This one is still few in a way, right? So, but if you have something that will be very lengthy, so you can use indentation like this, and you are still good because you're just printing numbers in a list, so just for readability instead of having it straight if it's very long. Okay. So another thing is, but for explicit line continuation using backslash, indentation still matters for clarity. Imagine you want to find the total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So instead of having it straight, you can use plus backslash and push this down, and it still gives you the total number because adding from 1 to 6 is of course 21. That's 6 times 7 divided by 2. 42 divided by 2, that's 21. That's the fast way to do it. Now we also have special cases. So there are single line blocks. You can have single line blocks. So you can just say if true, print yes. And this works, but not recommended, right? If true, just print yes. So this is working, but it's not recommended. It's still recommended that you say if true. So okay, let me do this now. So then I still bring this. Then the proper thing to do, of course, is to say if print, press enter like this, and then you're good. So this is more preferable to that straight line thing. So PEP 8 suggests using a new line and proper indentation instead. That's what I've done up there. So continuation of long expressions. Align with the opening delimiter or use a hanging indent. For instance, you have with else after loops. For I in range 3, print I, else, print done. Okay? So you see for I, the next level of print is going to be for an indent. Then else, which is at the same level with 4, it's going to also print at the same level of the initial print. So you have 0, 1, 2, done. Okay. So because you have a 1 in range 3, it doesn't get to 3. Start from 0, you have 0, 1, 2, and then it doesn't get to 3. So if you want 15, right? If you want up to 14, you just have 0, 1, 2, up to 14, then it prints done like that. Or if you say 5, you have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it says done. So that's that about indentation. So for some best practices, always use 4 spaces, not tabs for indentation. Then use an editor with visible indentation guides. Then run flake 8 or pilings to catch indentation inconsistencies. Then follow PEP 8 for a clean professional style. All right, so you want to learn more about indentation. Then key takeaway from this whole thing about Python indentation or indentation in Python. In Python, indentation is not optional, as you have seen already. So it is part of the syntax that tells the interpreter where blocks of code start and end, and consistency is critical. Now, sometimes even if you do indentation and it's giving you a result, if you don't do it right, you might get a wrong result. Because if you say that the code is at a particular level, whereas it is supposed to be at another level due to the indentation, you can get inconsistent results, right? I'm trying to think of a very nice situation of indentation right now that will give different results. I think I was talking about like designing the times table. Okay, I think when we get to Python functions, we'll see how to make a times table and all that. And you see how indentation can significantly impact the kind of results you get. All right, so with this, I come to the end of this interesting video. Let me know how helpful this video is for you. And if there's something you'd like me to try out, feel free to let me know. If you have subscribed already, thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed, I don't need to tell you that you are missing a lot already. So feel free to sign up to this channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can always get alerted each time a new video is released. Of course, you can take it a step further by clicking on join to become a member of this channel. So that gives you some special privileges like having a one-on-one interaction with me or getting PDF copies of my notes. All right. So with that said, I can, of course, I also encourage you to like, share, comment so that more people can have access to the great content I have going on here. Till I come your way again, keep doing Python right. Bye.